Greetings, Chicagoland. Building Communities, Strengthening Nations is brought to you by the Forum to Achieve Altruism, Compassion, and Tolerance, the F.A.A.C.T organization, broadcasting dynamic interviews of newsmakers and diverse organizations on both CAN TV and Chris Radio. F.A.A.C.T is a humanitarian-focused, not-for-profit that draws upon a more than 75-year legacy of volunteerism to promote peace, harmony, equality, and social justice for all. Building Communities is a weekly issue-driven program that is accessible on the internet as a global webcast at www.thechicagolighthouse.org. Tune in every Tuesday evening at 7:30 p.m. Thank you for watching F.A.A.C.T today.
Good afternoon, Chicagoland, and welcome to the Strengthening Nations, Building Communities, the F.A.A.C.T organization. Our goal is plain and simple, is to give you information that you can be a part of an active community that's not about just complaining about things, but it's about solving problems and learning to work together. And we have a very, very distinguished guest with us today, and a program that many of us do not know about, but it's a program that is so valuable to our youth that we said we just had to have them on. So, Mr. Greer, welcome to our program.
It's good to be here, Marshall. Thank you very much.
Mr. Greer is the Senior Director of Teaching and Learning at Project Exploration. And could you tell us what Project Exploration is?
Well, Project Exploration is a nonprofit organization that is focused on bringing science to youth. Our youth science program essentially creates a personalized curriculum for science for these students, primarily CPS students. And we do a variety of different programs that focus on development for youth, particularly minorities and girls.
Now, Project Exploration, you say the programs for girls and minorities, but what type of exploration are we talking about?
Well, there's a couple of explorations. It almost has a dual meaning. I mean, the first part of the meaning is about youth development. How can you, as a student, develop and explore yourself and understand what the opportunities are there in front of you as a student? Then there's the scientific exploration piece, where science is a process, and it's a process to understand phenomena in nature. As you can see here, our logo, based on a little bit of our history with the dinosaur there. And I can talk about that a little bit later.
Okay. And again, Chicagoland, we want you to be involved in this. It's an interactive program. This is a live call-in show. This is CAN TV Channel 21, which means that we're waiting for you to join us on this show. The telephone number is 312-738-1060. Again, 312-738-1060. You see the number on the bottom of the screen. Please join us in our conversation. Now, as we talk about this program, what is the mission of Project Exploration?
Well, our mission is to try to really expose students to a variety of different opportunities. We work to ensure communities that are traditionally overlooked by science, particularly the minority youth and girls, that have access to personalized experience with science and scientists. One thing that makes us a little bit unique from other organizations is that we put the scientists as a key component of the relationship. So the program is built upon relationships, and it started 10 years ago. We just had our 10-year anniversary this year.
Okay.
So it's a great organization that was started by two individuals, Dr. Paul Serino and Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. Paul Serino is one of the foremost paleontologists. He's right here in Chicago at the University of Chicago, and he's also a National Geographic Fellow. Wow. And scholar that studies dinosaurs. So if you're interested in dinosaurs, you probably know who Paul Serino is. And Gabe Lyon is the co-founder, and she's an educator and activist, and she worked a lot in the schools right here in Chicago and decided, hey, you know, there's got to be more opportunities for students to be able to connect with science, and not just what they might see on TV or at the museums, which are great places to kind of get access to science, but to be right with the scientists, studying alongside of them in their labs and out in the field.
So there's a difference in the approach that Project Exploration uses, correct?
That's correct. The personalized approach is really important. We believe in getting the students interested in science, which is not very hard. Most students, well, when they're growing up, they're interested and curious about the world around them. And we want to keep that going by keeping them interested in science with a variety of different programs that happen throughout the year. and then equipping them with the skills that they need to pursue science. Many people wonder, what skills does my son or daughter need, or how do I prepare my students in the classroom
Right.
for the 21st century? And they're called 21st century skills. One of those skills is critical thinking. It's so important for students to have the ability to think
on their
critically.
own. Oh, yes.
Science has got to be one of the best ways to do that.
Always. Again, Chicagoland, the numbers on the screen, 312-738-1060. This is a program that is available and being offered to our youth in an area where we oftentimes overlook. We look at the being a lawyer, we look at all the social things, but we oftentimes forget that the scientific world is just craving people who are interested in discovering. And most of our discoveries and what we have now came from scientists who were willing to explore the outer reaches of their mind, and it was because someone kept them going in that process. And that's what they're talking about, equipping people
Right.
to think the right
That's
way,
right. That's
to
right,
keep
Marcia.
that process going. And that's the key component behind Project Exploration. And we have a caller. Caller, you're on the air.
I'd like to ask your guest, why is your program is exclusive instead of inclusive? It only includes students that's in CPS. There's other students that are part of other school systems that don't attend CPS, and they're being excluded.
Okay.
I think that's an excellent question. It's very difficult for a small organization to serve everyone. Sometimes just creating a target audience or a target group to work with, to create partners, is one of the most effective ways to connect students to science. In the future, we might look at a variety of different models, program models that include other groups outside of Chicago Public Schools. But because our program specifically has to do with partnerships, and we're trying to partner with the schools to make sure that our personalized curriculum is aligned to the curriculum that they're having in the classroom, that is just the approach that we chose. There are other organizations, other programs. My background is in museum and informal education that works with a variety of different students to include them as well. But I do take your question to heart, and right now we're looking at a variety of different modes that would allow our students and other students to get involved as best as they can.
And again, as a part of building our communities, we have various groups that come in various sectors. It's not necessarily being exclusive to say that right now our program is being centralized in the Chicago Public Schools to the detriment of everyone else. It's saying that this is my niche market. And not everyone is going across every market, but these programs tied together offer our children a vast experience across every educational level, across every school level. We're talking about what they've done in Chicago Public Schools, and you've also been a part of the mentoring program at Chicago Public Schools.